Thank you for listening to the Business Blast podcast. So for all my listeners out there that have been wanting to do your own podcast, I'd like to introduce to you Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, distributing, and monetizing your podcast. So before I found Anchor, I had never actually done a podcast because all the research that I had gathered made it seem very complex. Then I found Anchor, and Anchor makes podcasting extremely simple. So if you want to do your own podcast, go to anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome to the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite provides you with the support you need to finish your book. Best part is, after you finish your book, they take care of the entire publishing and marketing process 100% for you. So, if you want to become a successful author, make sure to check out authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. And as a survivor of domestic violence, Ray successfully raised her sons as a single mother on welfare. When most would expect her to stay down, Ray Majors-Wildman shattered the stereotypes and became an award-winning business strategist, sought-after speaker, best-selling author, and CEO president of Ray Majors-Wildman International. With over 20,000 coaching hours under her belt, she has successfully coached every business from startup at the ground level to Fortune 100 companies. RMW International supports entrepreneurs and small business owners to create a real business, not a job. So welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me, Tyler. Super excited to be here.
Of course. We're excited to have you here. So the first question we ask on this show is, what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
I would say the best story is when I had an opportunity to attend a Tony Robbins event. At that time, I was really struggling financially. And so I actually wrote Tony Robbins and asked him if he would bless me by sending me a free ticket. And I would share that, I would say 6 months went by and I didn't hear a word from the organization. And literally the day that I received the free ticket was the day that I got laid off from work. And what it taught me is that sometimes when you have opportunities, it might not always show up the way you think it should show up. And I think the beautiful part of the story is that when I went back to the company that I was working for, we had like 2 weeks to wrap up. And I was telling my coworkers, I was like, oh my God, I got the ticket to go see Tony. And they said, well, you got to go. And I said, well, I don't feel responsible and, going to this event because basically it was just a ticket. The event was in Tampa. I lived in Detroit at the time, and I still had to figure out the transportation. And these same people who were getting laid off with me raised money so that I could attend that event. And so it shows me that, when you're out there seeking your purpose, that people are watching you and they will support you.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us. So my next one for you is, what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
Right now, being a coach and a consultant, a lot of people think that the space is really crowded. And I think many people are focused so much on online that they're forgetting that at the end of the day, business is all about people. And the coaches and the consultants who are really going to crush it in the next, I would say, 2 to 3 years are the ones who are not just going to be online. They're going to be offline and really making the connection a priority.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think, too, what it's going to be is the ones that are really, really delivering a lot of value, right? So like marketing is big and marketing matters, but at the end of the day, there's no better marketing than like a product or service that delivers extreme value.
I agree with that.
And I think a lot of people get strayed into all the marketing hacks, and it's like, well, what if you just focus on making the best product possible? And then go from there. So I don't know, my little rant right there, but that's what I think. So next one I got for you is, what is your best piece of overall business advice? So not necessarily industry specific.
I would say that the best piece of advice that I could give people is to know that there is no competition. I truly believe that if you are called to be an entrepreneur, you have a message, you have an assignment, and when you step into your message and really own what you're supposed to bring into this world, there are certain people that you are drawn to, and when you recognize that, then you realize competition is really it's not there. It really isn't.
Yeah.
So be you, do you, and own your story and be authentic, and you will draw the people that you are supposed to serve and support.
Yep, could not agree more. And then if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Woo, that's a really great question. I would just tell my younger self to relax and breathe and just know that everything is working out for my highest good.
And then, in your opinion, what is the key to happiness?
The key to happiness is really living life on your terms.
And then, what is the best book that you've read, and what's the number one thing you learned from that?
I would say I love to read, and my most favorite book is Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. He actually wrote this book right after Think and Grow Rich, but they didn't release it for almost 100 years. And the greatest takeaway from that book was your environment trumps your willpower. So there's a lot of people who believe in positive thinking, but the reality is if you don't change your environment, which is people, places, and things, you're always going to find yourself back where you are. So It really is about shifting your environment.
That is one of my favorite audiobooks as well. That audiobook is epic. So I agree. And then what is your favorite quote and why?
My favorite quote is by Tony Robbins. I started off with Tony, I'll end with Tony. It's in the moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. And so I add to that, choose wisely. Every decision we make is really shaping and changing our destiny.
Yes, I love it. So thank you so much for coming on. The last one I have for you before we let you go is where can our audience best find you online?
They can find me at my website, Majors-Wildman.com.
Perfect. Thank you again.
Thanks, Tyler. It was great being on the show.